He's just a warehouse worker, my wife's father said, leaning back in his leather chair, a faint smile of pity on his face as his business partners chuckled politely. Across the polished mahogany table, my wife, Elise, stared down at her wine glass, swirling it nervously. Her sister, Chloe, smirked and whispered, "So embarrassing," loud enough for me to hear. I smiled silently. It wasn't the first time I'd been dismissed. The dinner table glittered with crystal and silver, all under a chandelier that probably cost more than my yearly salary. Or so they thought. I had worn my plain gray shirt, no watch, no designer shoes. They liked people who looked expensive. I had learned to prefer invisibility. The TV in the next room was on volume low. Someone must have left it playing the evening business news. As Chloe reached for another glass of wine, a voice came through. "And now, meet the tech world's newest billion-dollar CEO." I didn't have to look up to know whose face had appeared on the screen. Elise's father turned toward the sound, curious. "Wait, turn that up," he said. Chloe picked up the remote lazily and pressed the volume button. On the screen was me, 31-year-old Nathan Cole, founder of Army Logitech. The logistics AI platform revolutionizing supply chains worldwide has officially taken his company public today, with a market valuation surpassing $1 billion. Silence fell across the table. Forks froze in midair. The reporter's voice carried on. Cole, who previously worked undercover in a warehouse for 3 years to understand logistics inefficiencies firsthand, has been praised for his unconventional approach and humility. I looked up then, meeting every stunned eye around the table. My smile didn't change. That moment was supposed to feel triumphant. It didn't, because the truth was, Elise already knew. She'd known for months. She just didn't care anymore. When we met 8 years ago, I was broke, ambitious, and certain that love would be my anchor in the chaos of building something from nothing. She had fallen for my hunger, the way I spoke about changing the world with my ideas. But when the company struggled, when investors vanished, when I worked 18-hour days and slept in the warehouse itself, her patience began to thin. At first, it was small things, missed dinners, forgotten anniversaries, arguments that ended in silence. She wanted stability, something I couldn't offer yet. Then she met Ethan, a partner at her father's firm, polished, confident, always available. He laughed too easily, touched her arm too casually. I noticed a shift in her eyes long before the first text message. I pretended not to, because I was too close to success to fall apart. The night I discovered the truth, I was debugging a model at 3 a.m. when my phone buzzed. Elise had sent me a photo by accident, her and Ethan together in a hotel mirror. She didn't realize it until I replied with a single message. "I hope he's worth it." She didn't answer. 2 months later, Army Logitech's prototype was acquired by a venture fund for seed expansion. The same day, Elise moved out. When I stood on the balcony of our half-empty apartment, the city lights stretched beneath me like a constellation of silent witnesses. I didn't cry. I didn't break anything. I just whispered, soon, and soon came faster than anyone expected. The company exploded in growth. What started as a side project in a warehouse became the backbone of major corporations' logistics infrastructure. The irony wasn't lost on me. My warehouse worker disguise had been the key to a billion-dollar empire. But the more I built, the emptier it felt. Every headline, every investor dinner, every congratulatory handshake. It all blurred together in a haze of validation that couldn't fill the hollow place Elise had left behind. After that dinner, after her family's stunned silence, I walked out without a word. Outside, the air was cold and sharp. Elise followed me to the driveway. "Nathan, wait." Her voice trembled, soft, almost unfamiliar. I turned. "Why? So you can say you didn't know? Or so you can pretend it matters now?" Tears welled in her eyes. "It does matter. I made a mistake." I laughed, quietly, bitterly. "Which one? The cheating or the underestimating?" She flinched. "You don't understand my father, my family. I wasn't fighting them, Elise." I interrupted. "I was fighting for us. But while I was building, you were already leaving." For a long moment, She said nothing. Then, in a whisper, "I didn't think you'd ever make it." The honesty cut deeper than the betrayal. I nodded slowly. "That's the difference between you and me." I didn't need to believe it. I just did it. I got into the car, leaving her standing in the glow of the mansion's lights. 6 months passed. The company doubled again in value. My face was on magazines, my name in headlines. Then one evening, after a conference in San Francisco, I found an envelope waiting in my hotel room. No return address. Inside was a letter in Elisa's handwriting. "I see you everywhere now. I can't escape you. I'm proud of you, Nathan. I always was. I just didn't have the courage to believe in something I couldn't see. You did. That's what makes you who you are. I hope one day someone loves you without fear." I couldn't. I'm sorry. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, reading the words again and again until they blurred. For the first time in years, I cried, not for what I lost, but for what I'd once hoped we could be. People like to say success is the best revenge, but that's a lie. The real revenge is peace, the kind that doesn't need to be proven or performed. Sometimes, I still think about that dinner, the laughter, the smirk, the moment the TV screen shattered their illusion of me. But I don't replay it for satisfaction anymore. I replay it as a reminder that every man they underestimate, every dream they mock, every just a warehouse worker they dismiss, could be the one quietly building the empire that will one day make them wish they'd seen differently. And when the world finally does see you, when your name becomes a story, they'll all say they always knew. But you'll know the truth, that you were never doing it for them. You were doing it for the version of yourself who sat in silence, smiled through humiliation, and kept believing when no one else did. And that's the version of me I'll never stop honoring.